Hello everyone, this is A33 We're back again. We're done to check out two new vehicles that have been introduced to the game. It's not like they've been introduced in the update. They've been released as part of the World War II Chronicles Event. So, I'm just gonna take a close look at them. I don't have enough time today to just go in depth about them, but figure we take a look at them. So this is one of them. This is a Matilda Mk.II F-96. Basically, this is a British Matilda that was lend-leased to the Soviets, and the Soviets, when they obtained it, they wanted to upgun this 2-pounder into a 76mm from the KB1, or just a 76mm in general, and then the KB1 one was the only one they could make. But basically, they wanted to upgrade the firepower on the Matilda. So it worked. Like the conversion worked out, but then the commander, one of the commanders said like this is an inefficient conversion. You can use the time span of conversion on making just more KB1s instead of converting Matilda, so they just went with that. So they dropped this, so only like 1 or 2 of these were made in prototypes. But I mean, yeah, it's a big gun, and look, the commander is even even in the gun breech. So this is definitely a very cramped turret with this conversion, and they even had like the whole KB1 gun mantlet. Yeah. But otherwise, the armor and the automotive is the same. It's got the same diesel, the 2 twin diesel engines and all that. And the other one, is the A33 EXCELSIor, however you pronounce that. But basically, it's kind of like a assault variant of the Cromwell tank. You can see it's like 114 millimeters. So this is a bit thicker than the Tiger 1, but essentially, when the Churchill tank design kicked off, it was unreliable. It wasn't. They didn't have much confidence in this long-term influence in the war. And the Cromwell was the A27 Cromwell was getting up to speed. So someone decided, hey, let's try upgrading the Cromwell and maybe use that as a heavy tank instead. And they made 2 of these. They made 2 pilot. I think I'm not so sure which. I heard the 2 pilot variants are a bit different, but I'm not so sure which one of them this one is. But the only one available is the second pilot. It's the second prototype version in Bovington right now. So I'm guessing this is the second pilot model. But yeah, it's got the 114mm frontal armor, and anything gonna hit is gonna bounce anyway. With the side armor, the side armor is not that good to begin with, but it's definitely something you can slope. Like here, so if you slope at this angle, you get about 110mm. Well, here it's about 138. So sloping benefits is definitely in application. Although but Churchill, like I said, they didn't have much confidence, but Churchill eventually did become reliable, become very efficient. So this project was just dropped. But we're gonna just take a close look at both of these. So we get the Matilda and we get the EXCELSIor. Just take it out for a little test drive. Yeah, let's just do arcade, cause why not? Something like that. Alright, so we got the Matilda 2 in the test range and arcade. Just talk about. Yeah, see, even arcade is a bit slow still. Relatively slow. There's definitely some vehicles that can go slower, but if you keep the acceleration up, it actually goes rather fast in arcade. So we got the 76mm gun. One thing to know that the depression on this thing is terrible. The depression is worse than the T-34s and even some of the KB ones. So your elevation's okay, like 15 or 20 degrees. It's a decent amount, and then we're getting like stuck range of the gunner now. But hey, they're just X-ray models. So it's the same firepower as a L11 gun. It's nothing spectacular. It's just the Matilda with a better gun. So you get to play as a heavy tank with the KB1 gun. But this is a Soviet tree, so not like the British had anything better. Sorry. Yeah, the acceleration is pretty good the speed is pretty good once you get acceleration up in arcade. Maybe I should try this in realistic just to give you an idea of the speed, because this is a tad bit ridiculous. And you're not gonna fire a Panther in the Matilda F-96, but it's here in test range. Let's give it a shot. Boop. There we go. Okay. Turning is sluggish, kind of. Yeah, if you once you turn, your acceleration starts slowing down. It is getting ridiculous. Let's just get to arcade. Let's just get to realistic. Okay, we're now here in realistic mode. So let's give it another shot. Yeah, the speed is definitely more. The slow speed of Matilda is more noticeable than realistic. Maybe I'll just do both arcade and realistic from now on. Whenever I do first impression, just to give you an idea of its mobility. But it's still the same gun. It goes slow enough that the bounce is not that bad. Otherwise it's you know, but like I said, it's just a Matilda with a KV-1 gun, nothing too spectacular. Turning's a lot worse. Reload's pretty lengthy too. I think it might be a bit longer than the KV-1s. I might have to look at the stat cards again. So I'll come back to you. I'll come back to you and probably a text overlay over here if it's same or slower. Yeah. But like I said, it's a poor gun depression, so this is not going to be a good platform to be hold down with. And I have a feeling, and even though it's also slow, the cheeks are a pretty big target. I'm sure maybe a lucky shot will penetrate and hit the turret crew, and that's 3 people out of the 4 in there, so turret crew gone. You go to crew replenishment, and then you're a sitting duck. Also to mention all those ammunition behind, so any penetration really that's gonna go through the front or to the side is not gonna end very well for the tank. Alright, let's just take out the Panther and let's move on before we spend too much time on this. Alright, there we go. Alright, we're back in the hangar now. Let's move on to the next one. The A33 EXCELSIor. So yeah, let's just take it out. We'll go arcade first, just to give you guys a good idea. Okay, so we're in arcade. Let's give it a roll. So you can definitely tell it's come from the Cromwell chassis because it's just so fast. Well, it's not so fast. It's fast. You can get to feel the acceleration and nice movement, the speed. And we got a 75mm gun on it still. No HE filler, so it's gonna take a while. Shoot again. Oh, that didn't work. There we go. And of course, like a Cromwell, it has a terrible reverse speed. -2 km/h. Someone on the forum is like, yeah, you can walk faster than you can reverse. Than this thing can reverse, so yeah, this is definitely another one of those vehicles that once you get in, you're not really getting out the same way. So just keep moving forward, forward, and forward. And it's kind of... It does remind one of the Churchill. I mean, it doesn't have the 152mm armor, but you get extra speed, so that's a plus. And plus, you got the whole crew. Oh yeah, one thing I noticed is that those ammo racks are huge. This is a 75mm for the Sherman we're talking about. Well, from the Cromwell, really, but it's just, those are huge. Round, look at them. Okay, that's a bit bad, but they're almost half as tall as the people. I mean, go look at the Sherman ammo rack. It's not that tall.
It's surging right.
Alright, we'll just take out the Panther once more, and we'll start again realistic. Alright, there we go. So yeah, it's a mobile, heavily armored, heavy tank. Nice little vehicle. Alright, let's go back now. Okay, here we are in realistic now. Just give it a nice throttle. Still fast, nice respectable speed for what it is. Like I said, it's 114mm of armor, so that much armor being able to go this fast is quite impressive. Although, like I said, they did cancel it because the Churchill was getting better. Well, I guess you stick around with a proven design, one you just conjured up off a rather unreliable suspension design. I mean, the Cromwell did have lots of track running off issues. The track just like pops off the suspension from going too fast, or it just wears off. Reverse is same, -2 km/h. And even though no HE filler, you once like I said, the right ammo placement will blow the whole tank sky high. Even though this is pretty darn fast. Oh yeah, the whole machine gun works. I don't know. Oh, they're reloading. I don't know why, but Gaijin made this whole machine gun work. So, it works. I don't know why you would want to make it work, but I mean, it's only a 7.62mm gun. Oh well, that's not my job. I shot too high. But anyway, so that's a EXCELSIOR. And if I am pronouncing it wrong, well, feel free to bash on me in the comments. But it's not a bad. I mean, I don't really play British much, but this is a pretty interesting vehicle to play around, to experiment with, because the Churchill is a slow, lumbering, heavily armored tank, but this is a fast one. Although not as heavily armored, it definitely has enough qualities to block most incoming rounds. I mean, the only weak point on the turret will be that the gun mantlet, which is still 63mm, but otherwise it's pretty solid, unless they get to the side or hit the 55mm lower glacis. But the lower glacis is pretty heavily sloped at 62 degrees downwards. So there's that. So yeah, that's just a very quick look into the two vehicles. I might make some gameplay video in a weekend or something, but you have the Matilda F-96 and the A33 EXCELSIOR. The Matilda, not too different. I mean, just a Matilda with a better gun. And Matilda armor, I don't know. I always felt that it was rather underrated for most of its life at the battle rating 3.0. Most close range encounters, even the Panzer III with a long 50mm can penetrate at some point. T-34 can, and if you manage to get a shot on the front plate. Sherman, it's just like those 75mm medium tanks can deal with the Matilda easily, and they're around the battle rating. I mean, just maybe like 0.7 above, but still, it's like the Matilda with a 3.0 is going to end up fighting them once in a while. So the extra gun, even though it does raise the BR by a bit, it does help improve the firepower to compete with these new tanks. And the EXCELSIOR, I think it's just one of those completely new tanks that it would be very fun to experiment with, see how well we can now the British can now launch assault for whoever now owns it. But yeah, that's about it. Thanks for watching. Like I said, if you want to see more of my videos, subscribe. If you watched some of my previous video, I uploaded some video from my visit to the Military Vehicle Technology Foundation. I do have plenty more videos to upload, including me playing around in the M4A3E8. So yeah, thanks for watching. I hope to see you then.